Good morning, grade 6. I hope everybody had an awesome weekend and you're ready for today's lesson. Today we will be doing revision on theme 6. So let's get started. So in our first lesson about prefixes and suffixes, remember that I showed you this little tree and I gave you that example of how the tree can be used to identify prefixes and suffixes and root words. So let's just quickly revise over what is a prefix. So a prefix is a sequence of letters attached to the beginning of a word, root, or phrase to change its meaning. Right? Some examples of prefixes was this, which is not the or the opposite of something, which means to do something again, miss, which is the wrong thing, right? So I'm just quickly going to read through these because you already learned it and it's already in your book. An example of sentences using a prefix: the teacher made the students redo their homework because they had the wrong answers. So here we can see we use the prefix right? Okay, so who can remember what is a suffix? So a suffix is a sequence of letters that may be added to the end of a word, root, or phrase to change its meaning. Let's look at some examples. So it's words able, which means you're able to do something or you're capable of doing something. Full, which can be something is full of, or when one does something, right? So let's look at some sentences. The kids were not allowed to play ball in the house because there were so many breakable items. So here we can see in the sentence they used the suffix able, right? Okay, so the next thing that we learned was subject and predicate, right? So a subject tells us who or what is doing the action in the sentence. And to find the subject, we first need to find the verb and then ask who or what did the verb. So for example, who ate the chocolate? The woman ate the chocolate. So she is a subject, right? Then what is a predicate? So this is the rest of the sentence and says what is done. And remember, it always contains a verb. So let's look at another example. The woman, which we know is the subject, ate the chocolate, and that is the predicate, which is the rest of the sentence. And then it also says predicates can be divided into a verb and an object. So for example, ate is the verb, which we know is a doing word, you're eating, and the chocolate, which is an object, which is something we can physically see and touch. But let's look into more of what is an object. So the object says who or what is being acted upon. To find the object, ask who or what after the verb. For example, the woman ate what? She ate the chocolate. Right? So we know that we know that the object is a materialistic thing that we can touch or feel or see, right? And in this case, in this sentence, it's the chocolate. Okay, so on page 78 in your textbooks, we have our revision page. So we have 7 questions. We have on the subject and predicate, we have on verbs and prefixes and suffixes. Right, so you will need to answer these questions for homework. We have already covered these topics in the beginning of the term, so you already know it, and you need to complete these questions. So you just write a date, heading, page number, and draw a line, and then answer the revision questions 1 to 7 on page 78. And this must be completed in your English workbook. Okay, so that's all for today's lesson. Enjoy the homework and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.